This is a tough question. Okay, this would be tough on the current version of the SAT. It's tough here, but it is a rule that they have tested consistently. Now, on the normal current version of the test, I have to stop saying normal or current or real. On the current SAT, we have this no change option that's usually written in the sentence for us. I think it's good that they got rid of it, and I think it's especially good in a rule like this, where it's really hard to know what they're asking us for, and so our tendency is just going to go to be like either to keep what's there because it sounds normal or to kind of like just listen for the best answer. This is not a kind of instinct question. There is a grammar rule at play here. And this was the main strategy for all of the writing section on the current non-digital SAT. And on the digital SAT, I think we're going to have to apply it as well. It's called Predict the Question. What we need to do is figure out whether a question is testing grammar rules or more of like a stylistic thing where we can just follow our instincts. I have not seen a style question yet in the sample here, so I don't know how much that's going to matter. But if we know that it's a grammar rule, we have to not just listen for the best answer. We need to think about what that rule is, because it might be something where our instincts are bad. We get a lot of grammar wrong when we just talk to our friends. So we hear things and it gets kind of messed up in our heads what's right and what's wrong. So sometimes the right thing can sound wrong and the wrong thing sounds right. It's a whole problem. But we can deal with it, because if we know that this is testing a rule, we can kind of try to figure out what rule. And it's tricky, but it's pretty predictable. The beginning of this sentence, I'm going to highlight it here, is a modifier. It's an intro clause that leads into the main sentence. Whatever starts after that comma, that's my main sentence. Now, if you have a modifier, if you're describing something, providing extra information about it, then the first thing after that comma better be the topic of the modifier. So when we read that piece, we want to kind of like ask what it's about. And we get this from the context of the other sentences too. So let's just read the whole thing. Rabinal Achi is a pre-colonial Maya dance drama performed annually in Rabinal, a town in the Guatemalan highlands. No idea if I'm pronouncing any of this right, don't care. Based on events that occurred when Rabinal was a city-state ruled by a king. Okay, so what is based on these events, right? That's the kind of question I'm asking myself. Well, it seems like the drama, the play, so the play had blah, 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 had once been an ally. So, okay, so it's very confusing what's going on, but if this modifier is kind of describing the play, what the play is about, Rabinal Achi, then that's got to be like the first thing after that comma. So notice there's only one that starts with that. So let's see. Choice A, Rabinal Achi tells the story of whatever, a military leader who had once been an ally. Okay, so that's probably going to be the answer, because that is, Rabinal Achi is based on events that occurred when the city was ruled by a king. Now, if we look at the other choices, we can see we start to break that flow and that connection between this descriptive clause at the beginning and the thing it's trying to describe. In choice B, it sounds like the guy, Kichi Achi, is the thing that we're talking about. He's not based on events that occurred. He is the event, I guess. So that doesn't make sense. C, there was a military leader. This is a good example of something that might sound good to you because this is kind of how we talk sometimes. But no, this is no good. We need to start with the play. And then D, the military leader, same problem as B. It's the wrong thing, right? So all of them, notice, mention the play, right? It's all in there, but it's in the wrong spot. So if you did this on your own and you got this wrong, this is a great example of how you can kind of get from a mediocre score to a higher score, because it's the kind of rule that most people don't know about, most people don't think about. But once you start practicing, you'll notice that the SAT asks about the same rules over and over again. And we're still not sure which ones they're going to ask about on the new test, because they haven't released a lot yet as of summer 2022. But as they do, we'll start to get a fuller picture of that menu of grammar rules. And you kind of want to memorize that menu. And as you're doing a question, kind of ask yourself, just go down the list. And modifiers are probably pretty low on that list. They don't come up very often on the current version of the test. But when they do, they're usually very sneaky. But if we can spot it and we can sense that that's the rule is easy to apply. We're talking about the play. We need to start this thing with a play. Only choice A even comes close to doing that.